All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Oh, sorry. So I had to do another setup because my son gave me one of the Blue Yeti microphones for Christmas. Yay, me! And hopefully it sounds great for you guys. So I had to reset up stuff. So it took a little while, but I think it all looks good now. And uh, just had to get back in the uh, routine of streaming again. So today it's sketch and watercolor ideas for your journals, and I thought this would be a good one for this time of year. Everybody's winding down from the Christmas uh, rush and New Year's, and everything's getting back to normal. Kids are back into school, and winter's here, and we all need something to be creative with, while winter is here. Because 'cause I'm not a winter person, even though I live in Canada, but I do, like to do art in especially in the winter because then I don't have to worry about my gardening because I am a gardener also, but I do love to, paint, draw, anything creative really. So I thought I would start off with some of the books and sketchbooks, collage books, that type of thing that I have used. Happy New Year, Brenda. Hope you had a fantastic day. Yes, I had awesome time off. Got a lot done, and I hope yours was just as good. Um, so I thought I would show some ideas of what I've done through the years of journaling and sketchbooking and kind of diary taking my way, more of a everything creative sketchbook. So it's a little of everything instead of putting them in separate journals because I find that having too many journals overwhelming for me. Some people love to do that, but for me, I'm one of those people that likes to finish a journal completely before I start another one. It's just the frugal nature of me. So, um, depending on what you're interested in, if you're an artist or an art journaler or a sketchbooker, this can be done in many ways. And you don't have to get the expensive, fancy uh, journals. You can if that's in your budget, but if you aren't able to do that, you can use what you have, and that means copy paper, if you're into gel printing, or maybe you printed out a bunch of reference photos. Don't throw them out. You can use them. And old books and newspaper, box from cereal boxes, that type of thing. Hey, Devin, good to see you. Yes, happy New Year. So I got a few of my sketchbooks and diaries and stuff together, and I'll show you what I did in the past years and then what I'm going to do starting this year. So let's go back to, let's see, I think this one was my first one that I did, and it was in a composition book. You can get these composition books fairly inexpensively. Let me turn down this exposure is a little bit bright. There. And um, all you have to do is either glue pages together, or you don't have to do that either. A lot of times, if you're gonna be painting in it or adding collage or, other papers to it, that's usually enough that, you can stiffen up the papers, and they're a dollar or cheaper. And this one was kind of an everything book for me. It was classes that I was taking, uh, experimenting in, and um, lots of collage and paint and prompts. These were prompts. Journal 52, it was called. This was back in 2014. And then you play because it's not an expensive journal. So if you make a mistake, oh well, glue the pages together. You don't have to see it. I glued my pages together in a large comp book, and I regretted it. I should have just done single pages. Yeah, yeah, like, depending on what you're gonna do with it. Some of mine are glued together, some aren't. I think I started in the beginning of gluing some of them together, and then I found that depending on the glue you're using, I started with glue stick, which was a big mistake because as soon as you wet the paper, it falls apart. Yeah, and they get wrinkly. Devin says that she regretted it because they got wrinkles in them. Yeah, and, so I found out by adding paint, and you could just put, uh, like, white paint on it if you wanted to. Even a latex house paint will work. If you don't wanna see the lines, that'll work too. Or a gesso or a primer for your house. Use what you have. Um Yes, maybe a combo of glue and not gluing as needed would be better. Yeah, I just found, I watered down my, uh, glue and only did one side, and then it's the way you fold it. If you fold it the opposite direction, then you get wrinkles, but if you glue on this side and then fold this down, then and let it sit for a couple seconds till it starts to adhere, and then you can flip it over. But yeah, so this is just a and as you can see, I've done all kinds of stuff in here. Drawing, I've done a lot of painting, and this is, I think the, golden high flow acrylics, and they don't stick. If you find they are sticking, you can always put a matte medium over top, and that'll take care of it, or a wax. So I did a lot of different experimenting in, and even that's plaster on top of that through a stencil. So look, a $1.25. So there's no worries about ruining something, and it really stood up well with matte medium. And look, it didn't warp or anything. So you can use those. Another thing, this I just got at Winners in their discount. This is like 3 years of, um this is my type of diary taking. So, writing, stickers, collage. I like to washi tape my edges for each month. Uh, some paintings in there, some photographs, and it had all the lines in it, but it didn't bother me. I also used, sprays, I think, and, uh, dye inks, like pads of ink, stencils. So if you got all kinds of, the stickers and stuff from your scrapbook days, get them out. Use them up in this way. This is a really great way of, um, being creative. stuff out of books, magazines. I think these were out of Daphne's diary, rub-ons. And I just love looking through this because it's so bright and it's cheerful. You don't have to read it. I just like looking at what I used for my ephemera in it. So anything can go in these. Anything. You can cover up stuff. I think there's some that I used as let's see. Yeah, like covering up stuff if you don't want to show it to people like that. But yeah, and then I got busy with other things and it fell to the wayside. And I stopped doing it because I just got too busy. So I want to bring this back again, this style back again, but instead of having just this for whatever was going on in the day and feeling bad that I didn't do it all the time, what I've decided is I'm going to do more of this type of journal. Now, this one is basically all the paintings I did in 2021. And I used file folders for this one. So a lot of it is just the paintings. There are a few different notes in here, but make belly bands. Like I could have made more stuff, but there's a note in this one. I just leave it in there. But I try to use up my stash of scrapbook paper, even to paint on. A lot of these are scrapbook papers that I paint on, and then pockets, lots of pockets, and it's interesting to go through. These were fun. I really enjoy looking through these, and it's pretty to look through. So there's a single sheet, so I just added material and glued it onto the other page. There's many ways of making these. I've done about 4 of them now. And there's a couple I still have to, like, I haven't put some of these in. You'll have to glue some of these in. But I'll get to it, but I know where they are. And what I want to do is add more smaller pages into it and have a combination of that other book, my diary, put in this also. I think I also do that this year again too. Yeah, I miss it. I did a lot of canvas work this year, or last year, I should say. A jelly printing. There's some, like, just think outside the box. More jelly printing. And then just add more different size papers. The watercolor, so I put it in a plastic. That's fine. You could do that more if you feel you maybe would sell it or that type of thing, and put them in the plastic so they don't get harmed in any way. But I love looking at these. There's another pocket one with another watercolor. There's a little bit of raised stuff, ribbons. Got into some of the what do you call it? Sketch or, that was fun. Dimensional one, very dimensional. Some of the, mixed media, um, stitching and that type of thing. These are hidden doors. They haven't even and I find that you get over, um, especially being on YouTube, it's you tend to get into worrying about your numbers and what other people want to do, not what you want to do. And that's when you start losing your creative um, signature of who you are as an artist because you're worried about what would be popular on YouTube. And so I'm going to do my thing this year. And um, so I still have my sketchbooks. These are what was this, a couple of years ago? Quite a few years ago, actually. So these are all watercolor and sketches. This is one of my couple of years ago, I guess. But very cheap sketchbook. Again, I don't pay a lot of money for mine. And I kind of work with the paper, so to speak. And I started doing a little bit of writing in it, but I guess because I have a fear of writing because I'm dyslexic. So my whole life I've kind of felt uneasy about writing because of spelling errors or whatever. But being dyslexic, you're very artistic. And so that's how I basically do my expression is through art more than writing. And the marshmallow hot chocolate. I love doing this. Oh, you did this. Yeah, they were fun, weren't they? Here's the little elf looking in the. That was fun. And different. Those the little guys I made up. Little imps. He's gonna whip a crab apple at you. They're fun. But yeah, lots of different ideas, and you just have to play with it. But so find a journal that's going to be right for you size wise. If you're just starting out, I would suggest a smaller journal like this here. But if you're a painter and you like to do more like a 12 by or 11 and a half by 8 size paintings, then get that size. And then you can add papers to it. If you want to buy a journal, that is. So this is my recent one, and I'm still working in it. And I started this one 2022. This has got 200 pages in it. And I use this one mainly for when I did streaming. So these are all basically streams that I did. I went through doing the letter of the month type of thing. That was fun. I did a little bit of writing in it, not a lot, but just experimenting. Flowers and birds but again, this was kind of a inexpensive one. Here I tested out different gouaches, but this is a sketchbook. And when I went to art school, that's what we used our sketchbooks for, everything. It wasn't a a journal that you would publish type of thing. It had errors in it, it had messy stuff, it had good stuff, and that's what you need to do. Go back to making, uh, everything, and so I wanna call this my creative everything book is what I'm gonna call it now. Before I was stumped on what to call it, or my creative everything sketchbook or journal. Either one is good. Here's when I started thinking about I wanna start incorporating a month and basically do a little bit of what that month was to me. So this one's August 22. And the dog's out in the deck with me when I have my morning coffee. Dry, 3 weeks without rain, weeds and more weeds, post office happy mail, stuff like that. And then you just illustrate what that would be to you. Yeah, a brain dump book, but also your art. A lot of us are doing stuff in our art journals. A lot of artists are, instead of doing canvases, are getting into the art journal now, because how many canvases can you paint for your walls? Or not, it's very difficult to sell, um, everything you do as far as canvases. So a lot of people kind of, stop doing it because they don't wanna have any more canvases leaning against their walls. So this way, there's no it can be put on a coffee table, you can go look through it, because it's the same thing as if you were doing a bunch of canvases. They're all stacked up on each other, and you're not gonna pull out a huge stack of canvases to take a look. You're more likely to pull out one of these journals. Oh, thanks, Brenda. So this is, what I'm thinking of doing this year, and I don't want anyone to think, "Oh, it's, January 2nd or January 3rd, and I haven't done anything yet." So what? Don't feel you're obligated to your sketchbook. Do it when you feel like. I find, well, for me personally, maybe you're different, but for me personally, if I'm not in the mood for creating something, or I'm in a bad mood, or I'm not feeling well, that type of thing, I'm not gonna force myself to be creative and then look at it and think, "I could have done better, but I didn't because I was rushing to get it done because I felt obligated." You know what I mean? So, that's why I think it's important to enjoy the process, not feel pressured into the doing of it. I enjoy watching you do your thing even Barb O sewing. I don't sew or want to, but I love watching her do what she does. Yeah. Yeah, doesn't matter what artist you're watching either. A lot of times you'll catch something they do that you didn't think of before, and maybe it's like a light bulb moment, and you can apply that to whatever you're doing. I watch a lot of streams, different artists, and, um, pretty well in lurk mode, because I like to, do other things while I'm watching, or I just don't feel like chatting, because then I can't, concentrate on what the artist is doing. But, yeah, you just have to play. Uh, so As you can see, all kinds of stuff in here. Mostly watercolor, though. This one was strictly watercolor. But there, I started chill out moments, and I did a little hidden door there. And that's the type of thing I want to add to all of my sketchbooks, journals, creative everything book. And then I can just go through one book instead of five. Like, why do I need five books? One for gluing, one for watercolor, one's for sketching, one's for um, mixed media. That's ridiculous. Why don't you put them all together and then work on it? And that way you can see as you go that, oh, that one thing you did last week must have inspired you to do the next page type of thing. And it looks more cohesive, I think. What do you guys think? Do you like working in a bunch of different what's your um what's your reasoning? I'm frugal too. I must admit I am very frugal. And oh, there's another one. June. So I just did a collage, and I want to try and keep more drawing and painting than uh, the gluing of collage and stuff, because I find that that's my thing, drawing and painting. And the less you do, the more you forget. You're all over the place. Brenda says I do different art in one book. Ah, awesome. Hey, Kim. Oh, thanks, Devin. Yeah, so like now a little bit about my garden. Started doing that, and a little bit of Halloween. And I stuck, that's a piece of watercolor paper. This isn't watercolor sketchbook, it's just a plain sketchbook. But I work with it. And if it's not the greatest, oh well. if I really want to do um, practice certain techniques with watercolor, then yeah, I'll get out some watercolor paper, because there is a difference between sketchbook and watercolor paper, right? So there is times, but you could always glue it in here. If it's not something that you're going to sell, then just make it the size of the book you're using. Hey, Dark, good to see you. Hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas and New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. I hope this year is filled with creativity and good health and peace and joy to y'all. That was one of the last ones we did online, and that was fun to do. And it worked because I was working with the paper I had. So that I enjoy the challenge of that. So some people don't. So you would maybe prefer a mixed media book or mixed media paper and work with that paper in the book. And then that way you can put drawing, watercolor, or acrylic, whatever it is you're doing. But if you don't mind working with this paper and occasionally add, like this one here, piece of watercolor, just tape it in. I get obsessed too. 2 weeks of drawing girls, a couple of weeks entangling, a couple of weeks of flowers, then collage. Yeah, exactly. I do too, Brenda. I get um, doing watercolor for a long time, and then I'll get tired of it for a bit and decide, oh, I want to get back into acrylics, or I'll start doing some more graphite drawings or jelly printing, that type of thing. So this was the last one I did on my own. Or actually, yeah, it's a video actually on my Patreon and in my join here in YouTube. And it's all about, again, December, and then a little hidden area for journaling. So I like this type of thing, but it doesn't have to be every single day. It could be by the week, could be by the month, whatever. It could be by the season you do one of these. Or maybe there is a day where you really want to make it a memory and put pictures in and then write about it, maybe draw something about it. So I still have a ton of paper yet to do, but yeah, that I keep up this upstairs by the couch. So whenever I feel like drawing, I'll draw. I have a little side table where I have a bunch of watercolor zig markers that I use if I want to do some watercoloring, and a bag of different pens and pencils and erasers. And then I feel like getting inspired by something I see on TV or whatever, then I can just put it in here. But that's it's almost done. I should have this done in a couple weeks, maybe drawing. So that's why I want to start a new journal. And I thought, well, who doesn't have boxes and boxes and boxes of jelly prints of all kinds? I have a ton of these faux eco prints, and some of them are just, this type of thing, one card, nothing really on the back. Now, I could scan some of these if I want to keep them and make them bigger, that type of thing. That's a good way of thinking. You may not want to use all of these in your book, but I have a ton. So I was thinking of mixing these up, and I could go in and make a bunch of maybe color coordinated for the month and mix the eco prints with more of this type of thing. I do mostly the eco with live plants, that type of thing. I have some that are on tissue paper, some that are on this rice paper. I saved all of these. These are the soak up ones before you take the actual print. But I like these. I think these have a lot of potential. And I think you could use these really, like, if we make a book this size, so it'd be the same size as this here. So this is a 8.5 by 11.5 or 8 by 11.5, something like that. So we could put different papers in here. So I could get all the kind of it's kind of a bluish gray color. Some of them are a little bigger. You don't have to have them all the same, but maybe even a black one. Let's see. And what I'm going to do, this one's kind of cool too. Just see ones that match each other. That's what I'm going to do, at least, so that we have kind of the month of January the same color. Oh, there's lots of, here's another one. And you can put in as many as you want. Maybe you're going to have a ton of things to talk about. I don't know. But I am not going to, let's just take these for now. And put these over here. I am not going to sew these into a journal quite yet, in case I want to add more papers. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fold them. Now I could, actually, I'm going to make some the wrong way. So that, now some of these do have prints on both sides, but we'll just make it like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to fold it. And this is going to be a great way of using up your gel prints. Now, if you're really fussy and you don't want, the edges uneven, you could take an X-Acto knife and cut them. Thanks, Devin. I'll send you some. I know you like them. I have a ton. I'll give some away. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to get a little book and take the guts out of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cover first, and then I'm going to make an elastic closure type thing. So we're just going to put the elastic in here to hold the pages. Now, I haven't done that yet. Just hold on a minute. Just a minute. All right. Now, my son he works at the landfill a couple days a week, and he brought me home all these old books. These are I don't know if they're leather, I doubt it, but they feel like leather. The Book of Knowledge, they're from Toronto. 1934 is this book. Love the paper. And he brought me a whole slew of these, plus all kinds of other ones from the 1920s. So this is, what is this? Any Book of Knowledge. It's just an encyclopedia, children's encyclopedia. Maple Leaf Edition, Toronto, the Educational Book Company. I even like the way they did their type. So because it's got a strong book cover, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the guts out, and I'm going to use this book cover. So I'm just going to cut this. Okay. Well, I can patch that, but I'm still going to keep these. They're awesome paper. It's smooth. I don't know what kind of paper it is, but it really feels nice. I'll send some of this to you too, Devin. See what you think. It might be good for jelly printing. It's really smooth and it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. Let me see. Just to test it out. See what a Sharpie pen does to it. It doesn't even shadow. Wow. Let's see what a marker or I'm gonna test an alcohol marker. Well, that's pretty good. It just started a little bit, not much. That was a juicy Copic. But that's really nice. I like it. That might be kind of cool to do. Let's see. Just thinking, it's not the greatest for pencil. It's a little too slick. But you could use pen on it or ink. So cool. So what we'll do is I've got gaffer's tape. Where did I put that? Which I can put on the. Where did I put that? There it is. I have a couple tapes here. I think this is double-sided tape. Okay, this is gaffer tape. It's a material type tape for books. From trash to treasure. That's right. You should see the stuff people throw out. Like those, I don't know if you're at Lena's Miss Linux 2010. You should go check her channel out. It's awesome. And she showed some Happy Meal I had sent her. And again, stuff that someone threw out. They must have had a store. Because my son brought home 2 huge, the size of those banker boxes? They were a little bit bigger than that, and there were 2 of those full of binders, big binders, and each binder had patterns for crochet, knit, and quilts. Full. And there was prices on them, and then a lot of them said store copy. So I'm guessing it was a store that went out of business, or I don't know. So he bought he brought them home, of course, and, let's see, how do I wanna do this? And I went through them. I'm not a knitter, so I thought, "Well, I can't just throw these out." Oh, thanks, Kim. I'm gonna put this down here, or maybe like that, and make it a little bit wider. And so I knew she was liking a certain type of, sweater when I was talking to her, and I said, "Hey, I got something for you." And she was tickled pink. So I have yet to, go through them, and I think what I'll probably do is see if the, Goodwill or something will want them, because I hate to throw them out. I wanna make sure that this is like that. So I want this good and stuck. And then I'm gonna just cut, this a little shorter so that that still shows the book of knowledge. And then I'm gonna put, hopefully, another one on. Yeah, she loved it. I'm so happy that I could give it to somebody that, you know, can appreciate it. Some of them were pretty old patterns, like 1970s, 60s. So I'm going to overlap it because I want it fairly strong in the center. It. Now you can be as fussy as you want. Maybe you want to cover this. I don't know. Whatever book you find that you can deconstruct. But yeah, I just sent her, like, well, you saw it on the on or if you watched it, she opened it online. I'm gonna get a something to rub that down. Just use my I still use my stained glass tools. They're great. These are uh, lamp Lightkins, Lantkins. I can't remember, for burnishing. They're great. But holy geez, the price of shipping? Oh my God. I had it stuffed really, like there was a lot more that was in it before. So I took it to the post office and it was like, that'll be $40. What? No, why is that? Oh, it's over 500 grams, so the price doubles. It's ridiculous. I'm going to put one down here, I think, just to strengthen up that. I wonder if I should. I could cover that because I want this to be um, fairly strong in there. I don't know if that's going to, well, we can keep it the way it is for now. We can always make it, but see, now we have the guts, so to speak. So we can take you could just cover this whole thing up if you wanted to, and then make something. I kind of like that, though, the book of knowledge. No, you guys can't see this very well. Let me brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, so I would love to send you guys some if you wanted some, but it's so expensive to ship international, even to the States. Um, oh, you got the clear duct tape? Yeah, I was thinking of that, Brenda. You could use duct tape, no reason why not. I hate when they pull out the yeah, the measuring tape. Well, doesn't slide through this slot. Kind of skiffs it in. It still goes through, but if it's touching it all, well, no. That's gonna cost you an extra $20. Like, what? Okay, let's see. What should I do? You know what? I think I'm going to get a piece of put it. Mm, that's pretty stiff. Nope, it's not long enough. I might have to find a piece of cardboard and stiffen this up a little bit. Because what I want to do is put 4 holes in top and bottom, and then get cord, stretchy cord. So I have this here. This is from when I had the shop. So this will work. And then we can just put in our papers once that's done. And then you just use it to keep your papers all together. So this gets put through the hole and then you don't have to worry about it. I think I want it. I could put it across there too. Let's see. I could do this. Yeah, let's do that. I'm not even going to put a hole in it yet, but I'm going to just use this to keep it hot. Okay. And then if I find that it's gonna make the pages a little bit eh, wonky, I can always fix it. I might because it's starting to curl there. So I'll probably get a piece of heavy duty cardboard or cardstock and put it down here so it stays more rigid. And then what we do is this will be January and then we can take these papers out if you don't like working in a book necessarily. We can take each paper out and work on it. So this, depending on how you want, maybe you want to do a spread. If you want to do a full spread, then you'd have to take 2 of these papers out. If you get my meaning. But you don't have to. You can also just do the single-sided, like in the book. But if you don't like doing it this way, you could always do the Coptic stitch, and then I am always happy to have a Canadian happy mail friend. Yeah, right? Yep. That's sad, eh? Yeah. And I don't blame people from other countries not wanting to send happy mail because it's so darn expensive. They're just making us separate. So what do you think? Would you like to work with something like this where you can just pull out your papers, or do you like working in a already fixed book? Um, so you can I'll still keep this no matter which way I do it. I could where's that book? So this was basically the same idea, but I did a Copic stitch and used ribbon. So it's there, and there. So there's only there you can see. See right there. So every quarter inch or something on this one, but that's a piece of heavy duty um, card. What do you call it? Not cardstock. Oh, geez, it's gone right out of my head. I just said it. So it holds really well. So you don't have to use acrylic or what do you call it? Elastic if you're going to do a Copic stitch or stitch it. Almost most of my journals are that way, easy to add and pull out. Yeah, that's the thing. If you not sure on how much you're going to want to put in it, it's kind of nice to be able to add to it when, and make it a little thicker or maybe take away stuff too. Maybe you didn't do much that month, so you want to take some out. Yeah, so I think probably what I'll do is I'll add the holes. I'll find a long enough piece of stiff board so I can actually take the crocodile, if you know what that is, a hole punch and punch holes in it, and that way it'll keep it more secure. but I like using old let's my well, for me, I shouldn't say for everybody. Some it depends what makes you happy, right? With me, I love to reuse stuff. I'm frugal and I love repurposing things. I've been that way my whole life. I can remember when I was a little girl, before Christmas. I remember this so vividly. Um, we had the old Coke bottles, and what I did my mom was a sewer. I took the scraps of material and made cloaks and gowns on the Coke bottle, and then made little heads and stuck them, uh, kind of made a ball and then put an elastic around it, stuck it down the bottle so the head stood on it, made crowns, and I made my own nativity scene out of Coke bottles and scrap material. That was when I was a little girl. So I love doing that type and I don't know why. I don't know where that came from, but I've always been that way. And I just remember that's like it was yesterday. It was funny. So that's what I'm gonna do. So, to get started on this too, and I know not everybody likes to draw, not everyone wants to paint, and that's fine too. I know a lot of you are getting into the, ephemera books and that type of thing. Uh, I did make another download for all my Patreons, and that's all levels. So if you're the artistic seedling in here on YouTube or on Patreon, this also is for you to download. And I've downloaded January, and these can be used. You can print them out however many times you want. You can resize it. Uh, these are transparent backgrounds, so you could use them for stickers if you wanted to. You're an artist. You're a appreciative seedling. That's funny. Um, and what I want you to look at these, just not as ephemera or stuff to cut out, but I'm picking a lot of these out for you to even try to draw and paint. These are very simple ones that I think you guys could do, and I made them big enough so that you could see, the detail in it. Not all of them, of course, but, like the trees and this birdhouse type of thing. These would be very easy to do in watercolor or acrylic, so use them as references also. So there's the, next one, and I did a bunch of, little snowflakes because we gotta get snow in January, right? Like, we hardly have any here, but I'm waiting. I know it's a coming. Ja Devin, you probably have a bunch right now, don't you? Or are you still oddly green over there? But you could cut these out with your hole punch, make little circles. You don't have to cut them out, um, y that way. You could make very close and make it into a star shape, that type of thing. And give me some ideas of what you use for your diary. Um, something that maybe you document a lot of. Uh, I think I put a coffee, well, put a drink because, hey, it's January. Um, woodpeckers, everyone needs cozy socks, and a gate that we could cut and have it open if you want, and then you could actually journal something behind it. We hardly have any snow either. Really? Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? Um, Time, a polar bear. Well, I just like them. Books, because a lot of us read in the winter. There, we have a teacup this time. A lot of people like to put either their coffee or tea or whatever, that type of thing. Um, Mittens. Now, I did put this little frame. No, I just threw this bird in here because I wanted to fit him somewhere, and that was the only spot I had. But you could take this out and just use the frame itself if you wanted to, and use the bird somewhere else. A deer and a fox, and there's the January. Do you want a calendar on some of these? Do you want more words? Do you want um, more strips like washi tape? Uh, Food. Do you want more food? Do you want like a lot of these, but are done because I wanted to paint them too and draw them. So this can be kind of your sketchbook practice for the month, is what I want you to look at them as a tea bag. And there's different degrees of simple to a little more advanced. Like this one might be a little more advanced, the log cabin. But you can still cut them out. You could enlarge them too if you find they're not quite big enough for you. You could enlarge them. That's no problem. Did I give you 2 of those? Oh no. Okay, so there's only 6 this time. Because I wasn't sure whether, what do you want? More trees, more garlands, polar bears are cool. Yeah. So we can cut these out or practice in your everything, creative everything book, and see what you can do. You could use last month's. There's also last month's. A lot of those will cross over into January because it's all winter type of thing. I didn't put all Christmassy type of thing in last month's. I think I had sweaters too in last month. Do you like more people? I don't know, but check out my Patreon. Um, and if you're interested in more of this, but you don't want to sign up for subscription, let me know because Patreon now has a shop where I could put these in each month for you to buy if you don't want to be a member. So let me know if that would interest you too. And I want them not too expensive because I want everyone to try this out. So do you think you'd be interested in doing painting and drawing of these on YouTube for everybody? Because I could take just, every so often do a sketch and draw of one of these or maybe something else that's not in here. So let me know in comments if that would interest you. And then each week I'll probably show you what I've been doing in here. I'm going to see if I can find my book. Or not book, the chipboard. That's the word I want, chipboard. Now there's one other thing that I wanted to show you. And I did get a book. This isn't on Amazon. It was on I can't remember if this was the Create. So it was one of those, promotion not promotional, you know how they do a oh, I can't think of the name. Um, they make a donation for the book, so they're trying to publish a book. I can't We're trying to do everything that interests me. I would love to see you do a sketch and draw any of these. Okay, that's good. I'm thinking of doing more videos too, short ones. That's it. Thanks, Devin. Crowdfunding. And I saw this and I love this artist. And it's 365 days of drawing and painting. Right up my alley. Very kind of futuristic fantasy, and there is some nudity, and it's art. But I just loved his work. I think it's very I love the color. I love the, intricacy of it, all the little doodads he adds to it. I think it's very interesting. So I think he has 2 or 3 books out so far. Well, I love this type of work. So it's all his work. This is one sketchbook for a year. And it's all watercolor mostly. There is some graphite or pen drawings too, but mostly watercolor. But very, very fantasy. But it's not too out there. Um, and it's not like some of the fantasy stuff I find kind of gore. I'm not really into that. But I love this stuff. I think it's really cool. It's kind of tribal in a way to me, but it's just inspiration, and I like to, help out other artists by supporting them in some way, either by subscribing or, um, fun contributing fundraisers or, every little bit helps. That expression, starving artists, is real. Yes. A lot of people very few of us get to that point where we're in galleries and your paintings are selling for tens of thousands of dollars and somebody's supporting you and buying your, uh, paints and paying for your residency and, you know, very few of us get that. But I love the fact that artists that like, he has a definite style, and I love the fact that he didn't get diverted into doing something for the crowd, you know what I mean? So many of us, lose our self-expression in art because we're worried about what sells or, um yeah, what sells? What's gonna be popular? Who's gonna, like us or, give us positive feedback? And we should be doing it because we love the process of it. We're expressing, emotions and feelings and thoughts through our art. So I thought I'd show you this, and I thought it was really different than the typical fantasy stuff. I think this book was $50 Canadian, but I love it. I look at it all the time. So, how's my sound to you guys? Is it too loud, or can you hear a fan in the background? I have my fireplace going, so yeah, beautiful, whimsical fantasy. It's the 1-year drawing by Moon, Moon. So I'm guessing, I don't know what the nationality. It doesn't say in here. I'm guessing it's probably, this was 2016. So you can still get the book. Uh, he's a self-taught artist in the 1990s. And became a director and teaching graphic design. Huh, doesn't say where he's from. That's odd. Maybe if you go on the website, it'll say. Maybe French. Could be French. Yeah. All right. So I just thought I would show you that. So get out your sketchbooks or get your papers out. I like doing it this way because you already have something on here. So it's not a blank page. You can use gesso, acrylic paint, whatever, if you want to give this a coat. And you can either work with what's on the page or do something completely different. You could just, like I said, if you want to use this for enhancing your written material, then use it that way. And I'm not saying you can't, but try and draw your own stuff. I think you would be surprised. The more you do, the better you get, and the more relaxed you feel about trying different things. If you feel more relaxed about drawing, then there's no stopping you. Because I know a lot of people will get these great ideas and they'll want to do something on a piece of paper and they'll stop because they can't draw it. And then they can't find something in their collage to represent what they're thinking. So practice. It doesn't have to be totally realistic. It can be fun and quirky and like, what is it? Some of these in here. I had some funny ones in here that I love. Like a little bunny. It's not realistic. I need my prompts. There. The poor cat. Like we could use this because it's been raining for so long. And then I made stickers out of this guy because everyone was getting a cold. I think I should reprint them and send them out because that's a perfect one. Everyone got sick over Christmas, right? So, just play. Try and draw stuff, and the way I did this was I didn't do it right out of my head. I looked up, um, cat wet cat, just to see what they look like, or I looked up man cold and then stuck the Kleenex in his nose, and then just kind of didn't make him as realistic, more comical, like longer face type of thing. So you exaggerate the features a little bit to make them, look a little bit more, fun. Alright, so yeah, there's very simple. There's the snowman. Just you just look up stuff, sin now this is more realism, but you don't have to do that. There, very simple. Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope this gives you some ideas and, helps you figure out what you're gonna do and, how you're going to represent this year. Is it all gonna be in one book, or is it gonna be in a bunch of books? How do you like to work? I'm gonna try this way, and I have a bunch of commissions that I need to paint, so, um, I might do a few of the small, um 5 by 5 canvases that we were doing a canvas a day, but I've got a lot on my plate coming up, so I don't think I'm gonna start that up again. I might do some here and there, but I am gonna concentrate on this, and I will do a mix of watercolor and acrylic in here. I will keep Tuesdays as sketch and watercolor, and Thursdays will be, uh, mixed media, so that would include your acrylics and pastels, that type of thing. Alright? So have a good night, everybody, and get your jelly prints out and see what kind of book you can make up. Use those jelly prints. Even if they're the cleanup ones, they'll work too. Alright? Have a good one, everyone, and thanks for coming. Bye for now.